Hello, and welcome back to another pen talk. Thank you very much for joining me as I explore the amazing, incredibly diverse wide world of pens. And yes, you see a interesting pen rotating in front of you. It's a new color from Asvine. Brittam offered me to send this pen, and I said, sure, I'd love to try it and add it to my V126 collection. I don't know when the pen might be available, but we'll explore it, take a look at my other V126s, and also take a look at what this resin reminds you of. So stay tuned, we'll explore that. So the pen came in the classic Asvine box. Inside is a plastic box which has the pen secured in that foam, and I saw an interesting description. Let's flip it over. And don't clean your pen with alcohol. I think that's a very good suggestion. And it talks about vacuum filling and piston filling pens. And also, there's a nice instruction manual that Asvine includes with most of their pens. And I think this is very well done. And it actually helped them write it. So we're going to explore everything with the pens, vacuum filling, talk about a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. This is my Asvine V126 collection. Here's the newest edition. I also have this matte black one. Very, very nice dark matte resin. Nice matte blue resin. And the brown one with the nice shiny bits and pieces. So I'm impressed with how they've kind of made slight changes to the materials and given you a pen with quite unique looks. And the pen is still relatively available, but it varies a lot from seller to seller. So if you're interested in a V26, and it's highly recommended by me and many other people on the wide web, you might want to look at them. I think the blue one seems to sell out the quickest, and the black one is also a quick seller. Who knows when this one will come out, but if you're interested, you need to watch the auctions, Amazon, Etsy, not so much eBay, but doesn't hurt to try. Those are the three that I spent time on. If you want one, hope you can find one. And of course, they come in extra fine, and medium nibs, which is a great variety. And if you want to, you can just buy the nibs, and then you can have one pen with 3 different nibs. A lot of variety, and I really enjoy and appreciate what Asvine has done with their pen collections, giving us pen nerds a lot of stuff to drool over. Yes, I believe the V126 new color is like Cordierite, which I have 4 PenBBS pens in this great resin that I really enjoy. And I also have a pen roll stop here, the 323. I forget what this one is, the 500, the 480, I think it's the 495, that piston filler. And now I have a pen from a different manufacturer, which I never expected to find this resin in other pens, but it's fun to do. We all know that the 323 is such a nice design, ergonomic design. Doesn't post no clip, it'll roll all over. Of course, we talked about the 500. The 480 is closest in its design features, but it has a more pointy end. This is a more rounded end. Probably a way to describe that, but yeah, not to me. I think the 480 was really a good improvement over the original one. And needless to say, my mind has forgotten the model number 308. That's what it is. So I thought you would like to look at other pens in a similar resin. Well, I'm always going to do a little bit of exploration when I get a new pen. Also unscrewed the nib assembly because I wanted to show you there's 2 O-rings, one here at the top and one at the bottom. So the bottom one would hopefully prohibit ink from flowing up to get between the nib assembly and that section. The section is somewhat translucent, so you would see the ink in there. Some pen people don't like that. In here, the O-ring above these threads is always good, and of course I will silicone grease both O-rings when I reassemble the pen. I just really like the way this Cordierite resin looks. Obviously well done. There's another O-ring there which will be silicone greased. And of course, one of the fun things about a vacuum filler is the sound that it makes. So you unscrew the cap, pull up that vacuum piston, and let's listen. Whoa, that's a serious pop. So it should be interesting to fill. I think we just need to do some LED exploration. Let me darken the room, and we will do that. That was interesting how the camera adjusts to the changing light. And we'll bring in our trusty LED. It's not as dark as I would like, but it still is interesting. So I always think it's fun about a resin, how you can really have an interesting look to a pen. In addition to having it being a great writing instrument, that's always a good thing. Certainly something I enjoy. And the dark coating, matte black coating, stealthy coating, is good on all the pieces as my trusty LED becomes not so trusty. I'm going to use this ink in the pen. It's going to go to my partner, and they want a blue ink. Let's see how it fills the first time just using the vac filler. So if you read instructions, it goes remove cap and cap on the bottle. Unscrew this end of the barrel, pull up the piston all the way up, insert the pen into the bottle of ink, and be careful that the ink isn't too full because it's going to do a little squirting, and we'll just go down in one straight movement. As you can see, we got about half a fill. To me, that's typical of vac fillers. There are ways of getting more. You pull the piston down, you try it again. Never really worked for me. And there's also special devices. TWSBI made one, Visconti made one, ink pots, that you insert the nib upside down, and that fills more than this, but this is good enough to start. I don't know whether Matthew's going to try to make this commercially available, but this is a really brilliant blue. I like it, kind of on the royal side. I see a little purple in there, but nah, I'm not the best judge of color. From the feel in my hand, Asvine has done another great job. Excellent nib, good flow, and this throwback blue looks really, really good. This is a fine steel nib, but it's on the generous side of fine. Lays down a very consistent line, as you can see, fairly wet. Look at that smear. I'm impressed again. I wrote with the black pen, which has a extra fine black nib, and it writes as well as the fine nib did. It lays down a great line, and it is finer, no question about that, almost half of what the fine is. So the fine is a generous fine, and the extra fine, I'd say, is pretty much right on the money. But again, very, very generous flow. This is Noodler's Eel Black, one of my favorite black inks, and it has some permanency to it. So, as you can see, the nibs run pretty true, but there's going to be some variation, as there is with all nibs. Show you how this fine nib writes in the blue pen. And this fine is more like the fine. So this fine is a little generous. This fine is pretty much right on the money. Another great ink in here. I'll put that on the screen. I don't have it on the top of my head. But so you got extra fine, fine, and they're also making medium, but I've shown that in some of the other models. And it's a little bit wider than this fine, and also very smooth and very wet, which is what I enjoy. So I fibbed. Yeah, I wanted to show you the medium nib, which I have here in this beautiful rainbow V200. And this medium nib is definitely wider than the fine by quite a bit. It's also very soft, very wet. Another blue ink, which I'll tell you in my titles what it is. Also, you see a little feathering here, so we'll have to see what that ink is. But this is just, again, a beautiful nib. Asvine has done it again. So we've come to the conclusion of this review of an interesting pen. I just put 3 of them here because I like them, all of them. And I could throw other Asvine pens in here that I also love, so I'm a fanboy. But they're consistently good, fit and finish is excellent, and ergonomically they all work very, very well. I mean, it's all you need in a pen, from my perspective. And I've never had any issues over the time that I've had any of these Asvine pens, so reliability, at least from my experience, has been very good also. So with that, I just thank all of you for watching. I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy. Enjoying your pens. Enjoying all your pens. Inks, papers. Put some ink on, down. See what happens. So with that, we've reached the end, and we will say bye.